Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Pamela if you're new here, and I am on a weight loss journey using lifestyle modification and a little help from some compounded tirzepatide. I have just completed week 21 of my GLP-1 journey, and today I'm going to be giving you an update on my 21st week progress, and I'm going to be doing my 22nd injection. So let's get that injection out of the way, and then I will get into my results for the week and just how everything is going in general. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Y'all know what today is. It is Friday and it is shot day. And I am ready to get this 22nd injection going and get to bed because y'all know my routine. I've been working overtime all week and I'm exhausted. It's Friday. It is 10:15. Jeez, it's 10:15 p.m. I've been up since before 5 a.m. I'm ready to lay it down. So I've already washed my hands. I'm going to get right into this injection. I'm currently on 5 milligrams, and this week my compound is a little bit different because I have finished my bottle of tirzepatide that I had from Hallandale. And so my injection, now I'm going back to the prescription from Empower, which is a different strength. So that's one thing that's always very important to make sure if you're on a compounded version, make sure you're paying attention to the dosage because the dosages are different. For this one, it is 17 milligrams per milliliter of the medication. So my injection is going to be 30 units, which will give me 5.1 milligrams. So I've already washed my hands, of course, and I'm going to take the cap off of this vial, and I'm going to get my alcohol swab and clean this up and get this injection in. Today I will be doing my lower left abdomen. Last week I did my lower right abdomen. And y'all know me, I get dyslexic with numbers, with sides and all that. I had to check my Shotzi app before I came in here so I could remember what I did last week because my memory is like that, and you know, I did not remember where I did it. So that's why I love my Shotzi app, because I can track everything and I know exactly where I gave my shot last week. So I'm not giving myself my injection in the same spot. So that's another thing that's important, is to rotate your shot locations. And so all I've done right now is I've pulled the syringe plunger back to the 30 mark to get some air in the syringe. And now that I've done that, I'm going to take the cap off and I'm going to place it right down into the center of the vial. Press the air in, and then I'm going to draw this back to the 30 once again. And okay, so now that that is at the 30, I'm not sure if it's going to focus on that, but now that it's at the 30, I'm going to pull it straight out. Okay, so hopefully I've got the camera at a better angle this week than I did last week, because I realized when I was going back through the editing process that you could not see half of my injection last week. So I'm going to try to get this a little bit better. I moved the camera back a little bit so that if I need to edit differently, hopefully I'll have it in the shot this time. But today, again, I'm doing my lower left abdomen. I'll just do right here. And all right, now that this area has dried, I'm going to go ahead and get my syringe and take the cap off. And I'm going to grab this section right here and Guys, I tell you, this syringe is so much better than the other syringes that I got with my prescription from Hallandale. Again, I barely even felt that. The injection last week, I barely felt. But the ones before that, with the other syringe that I got from Hallandale, these Easy Touch syringes, I do not recommend. Unless, like I said, unless I just happen to get a bad batch. These syringes took a lot more pressure to do the injection, to actually poke through the skin. So, yeah, I feel like these that I have now, that I got off of Amazon, are so much better. I'll leave the link to these. Guys, I'm not affiliated. I don't make any money off of any of this. I don't get money from YouTube. I don't have any affiliate links. I don't have any sponsors. I mean, if somebody wants to sponsor me, hey, reach out. My information is always down in the comments. But I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting a kickback if you buy them, if you don't buy them. I mean, I just put it because I think if I put a link down there, it's because I think it's helpful. It's not because I'm trying to promote something so that I can make some money, because I don't make any money off of any of this. I like these syringes. So if you're on a compound and you run out of syringes, because sometimes they don't send you very many syringes with your prescription. They were fairly cheap, less than $20. I don't remember right offhand, but I'm pretty sure they were less than $20, and it was a big box of 100 of them. If I'm doing one injection a week, that's like a 2-year supply. So I will link them down below. Feel free to use it if you'd like. Again, no kickbacks. No money from it, no sweat off my back, whether you use it or not. But I'm going to get all this cleaned up, put my medication back in my refrigerator, and I will be back tomorrow to go over my results for this week. So tomorrow for me, 2 seconds for you. Now it's time to go over my results for week 21 of compounded tirzepatide. And for those of you who are new here, when I started my GLP-1 journey back in November of 2024, I was 196.9 pounds. I had been at that weight for a few months. Prior to that, I had gotten down to about 185, and then slowly was ticking back up and just could not seem to get the weight to go back down. So I started my GLP-1 journey on November 22nd of 2024, again at 196.9 pounds. And this is the end of week 21. When I weighed in last week, I was 162.6 pounds. So when I weighed in this week, I was 162.6 pounds. And that is kind of what I expected, if not to go up, because if you've been watching my recent videos, you know that I am trying to bump my calories up. One of the things when I started my GLP-1 journey that I soon found out was that I was having a very difficult time getting in enough calories. So going back probably about 3 to 4 weeks ago, up until that point, I was averaging around maybe 1,000 calories a day. And of course, there were days when I would go much higher than that, but there were also days where I would be substantially lower than that. And it was just very difficult for me to get in enough calories. And of course, that would be with trying to eat healthy, because it's very easy to get in enough calories when you're eating junk food or fast food or, you know, the things that I used to eat. It would be very easy for me to get 2,000, 3,000 calories in a day, no problem. But I don't want to eat those types of foods anymore. I want to be a healthier version of myself. And so it was really difficult for me to eat healthy and then get in enough calories because I would just be so full. And I would fix a plate, and halfway through the plate, I was just full. And it would be to the point where I felt like if I ate another bite, I was gonna be sick to my stomach. And I didn't want that either. So just trying to eat more throughout the day and not stuff myself at one sitting, I think that helped out. Now I'm averaging, or my average for this week was 1,376 calories. Still not quite where I want to be, but definitely better than what I was doing because I was always so tired. I was having a hard time getting any workouts in, really doing anything. I would just be exhausted. To do my laundry, I have to take it upstairs. And it was very difficult just to even get up the stairs with a load of laundry. You know, I would be winded. And you definitely don't want that. Being on a GLP-1, it definitely curbs your appetite, but at the same time, you have to make sure you're getting enough calories. So you have to find balance between the amount of calories you're taking in and the amount of calories that you're expending, because you still want to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit so that you are continuing to lose weight, but not a deficit to the point where you're not healthy. And that's where I was. And thankfully, I did not have any type of problems related to that. There were a couple of times where I felt a little lightheaded, and of course, like I said, I was tired all the time and I would be fatigued just doing simple house chores. And I think what finally clicked for me, or made it click for me, that I wasn't getting enough calories was, you know, when you get like a new condiment bottle of ketchup or mustard or whatever, you have to take the cap off and peel the little thing off the lid before you can use it. Well, we had a new bottle of ketchup and I could not for the life of me open it. And I'm trying with all my might to open it, and I just had no strength whatsoever. And I'm thinking, this bottle, they put the lid on too tight, and my daughter picked it up and just like nothing opened it up. And I'm thinking, okay, is it me? And so I started paying attention after that, and I noticed that I just did not have the strength that I used to have. And I know that losing weight very rapidly can lead to muscle loss. And I have not had a DEXA scan because I've had a problem finding a place in my area that does not want to charge an arm and a leg for the DEXA scan. However, I do have a body composition scale that gives you a rough estimate. We know those are not completely accurate, but I feel like the trends are accurate. So if my muscle mass is going down, it'll show me the trend of it going down. And it's been fairly steady. I mean, it's gone down just slightly, but not significantly. So I feel pretty confident that I'm okay with that as far as muscle loss, but I do need to have the energy to do my workouts to maintain the muscle that I do have. So I do need to make sure that I'm eating enough calories. And I said all that to say that I did expect that when I started bumping my calories up, that my weight loss would either slow. I'm not gonna say the word stall because I don't feel like I'm in a stall. My weight is fluctuating throughout the week. So some days it's going down, some days it's going up. And I think it's just the normal fluctuation. So pretty much I expected my weight loss to not be so rapid. And I'm okay with that. On average, I'm losing about 1.6 pounds a week. And that's another thing that I love about the Shotzi app. And guys, I am not affiliated by any means. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. I am not affiliated with anybody, any company, I don't get any type of kickbacks on anything. If I mention something, it's because I truly, honestly love the product, or I believe in the product, I use the product, and that's how it is with the Shotzi app. I use the Shotzi app every single day. My weight automatically carries over into there from my Apple Health app. All of my numbers for my food calorie intake and all of that transfers over from my Carb Manager app. But I do look at it regularly because I like to see, it shows the little graph of my trends. And so I can see my weight going up and down throughout the week. And I can see in here the average weight loss over the course of time. So since I've started my journey and started tracking in the Shotzi app, I've been losing on average 1.6 pounds a week. And again, there have been weeks where I maintained the same weight. So some weeks I'm losing more than a couple of pounds. And so I noticed lately that I've been losing my curves. That's another thing that I don't want to do. I don't want to lose my muscle, and I don't want to lose my curves. I've always been, not in a conceited way, but I've always been proud of the fact that I had nice curves. But now that I'm losing so much weight so quickly, I'm starting to lose my curves. So I'm trying to step back a little bit and not lose the weight so rapidly. And I know you can't really target and say, okay, I'm going to lose weight from my hips, I'm going to lose weight from my thighs, I'm going to lose weight from my belly, but I'm not going to lose weight from my behind. And I know it doesn't work like that. But at the same time, I think that you hear so much about Ozempic face, Ozempic butt, and you see these people that look like death walking around after being on these GLP-1s. And I truly believe that it's because they are not using the medication in the proper way. And there is such a thing as too much too fast. And I don't want that. Slow and steady is definitely the way to go when you're on these GLP-1s. Being a slow responder is not a bad thing because it's always healthier when you're taking your time and you're building those good, solid, foundational habits that you can sustain long term. So that's what my goal is right now. I'm close to 1,400 calories. My first goal was to bump up to 1,200 calories. I did that with no problem. I surpassed that, I feel like, and now I'm working on 1,400 calories. Once I can maintain around 1,400 calories, I'll reassess everything. We'll see what my energy level is looking like and what my workouts are looking like and what my weight loss is looking like at that point. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So the energy level is coming back. I think that a lot of my fatigue this week is again related to the long hours at work. I'm not a morning person, but I'm a night owl, I guess. But at the same time, I start work at 5 a.m. So even though I'm not a morning person, I am getting up early, but I have a hard time going to sleep at night. So I really need to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. Guys, sleep is so important. And I mean, there's a lot of things. I think that one of the things that we don't talk about a lot, or I don't hear a lot of people talk about on this journey, is how we got into the bad habits that we had in the first place. And for me, I'm not necessarily a stress eater. I'm just an eater, period. But for me, when I get stressed, I tend to just want to zone out. I just shut down, basically. And I will find myself making poorer choices. And lately, I've been pretty stressed. So I'm trying to take a step back and really try and figure things out from a different perspective, and not just be so quick to fall back into those old habits. I haven't fallen back into the old habits with food per se, but I say that, but to be perfectly honest, when I went to Sam's the other day, I was looking for something that I could snack on. And I don't know why, because I really don't snack that much anymore, but for some reason I wanted to grab one more thing that could be like a snack. And I guess because I'm trying to boost my calories, I was like, let me find something that's still somewhat healthy, but is a snack. And I really don't think it was so much healthy, but this one thing caught my eye, and I'll put a picture in of it, but if I can find it. But they're mango slices, dried mango slices, but they have the chamoy, or what is it, the chili powder on them. And I was like, oh, that's good, something sweet, but still, I mean, it's fruit, it's healthy. In my mind, that's the lie that I told myself. It's fruit, it's healthy. Yeah, no, they have a lot of sugar on them, but I've noticed that it's hard to just eat one or two or three. That's probably why I'm at the 1370 this week. I guess I'm just trying to say that, you know, when you're under stress or you're under pressure, or, you know, things are going on, it makes it, at least for me, it makes it a little bit more difficult to make those healthy choices and to stay on task and not fall back into old patterns. And that's the thing that I'm trying to change. And I think the important thing, at least, is that I recognize that. And that's the first step. The second step is, what am I going to do about it? So that's where I'm at right now, is just kind of assessing where I'm at and making the necessary changes to make the better choices when I'm in a slump, so to speak. So I've got a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of tough decisions that I have to make, and it kind of takes me out of the zone of being motivated to do my workouts and to make sure that I'm eating healthy. And again, it's all part of the journey. I know sometimes people may not want to hear this, because it could be, I know when you hang around somebody who's Debbie Downer or whatever, you know, it tends to bring the mood down. And I definitely don't want to do that. I want my channel to be a place where people can come to get education, be entertained, be motivated, have a positive atmosphere. So I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I still want to be truthful and just let you guys know that this is where I'm at right now. And I'm struggling, and it's just part of the process. And I think we all go through these ups and downs. It's recognizing where you're at and how are you going to handle it. If I handle it the way that I used to handle things, then I would be laying in bed all day, eating comfort food, drinking my Coke Zeros instead of water, which I have my water today. That was one healthy choice that I made, because I really wanted to grab my soda, but I decided to get a water, and this is actually my second one. So I'm trying to make these better choices. I don't want to fall back into the old habits. This is all about lifestyle modification. And if we're not willing to make the changes, then what's the point of even being on this journey? The medication is not going to do the work for you. The medication may help you not eat so much and lose the weight, But if that's all we're doing, then that's not a healthy way to do it. And I'm not trying to lose weight to be skinny. I'm trying to lose weight to be healthy. So I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of things to figure out over the coming weeks and coming months. But one thing that I know is that God has never let me down in my 54 years of life, 39 if my daughter is watching. It's just the going through the valley process is kind of rough. But it's a learning experience, it's a growing experience, and when I come out on the other side, I know I'm going to be better for it. But Lord Jesus, He gonna have to see me through, because, you know, it kind of reminds me of that footprints in the sand poem. You know, Lord, why did you leave me in the times when I struggled the most? And God says the reason you only saw one set of footprints was those were the times when I carried you. Thank you, Jesus, because God is carrying me right now. He has to be. I've been so blessed that I can only thank God, because I know it has to be God. And I'm sorry, I'm going off on a total tangent. And you know, I know some of you may not even believe, and that's fine. We don't all have to believe the same things to be able to see eye to eye on other things. So, you know, the weight loss journey is different for everybody. And whether you have faith in God or Allah or Buddha, whoever you believe in, or if you don't believe, we all have to find what helps us make it through this life, through this journey, and come out on the other side. And, you know, what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. But the point is that we keep going. And that's what I'm doing. You know, no matter how rough things get, I'm doing what works for me, and I am going to make it to a healthy weight, a healthy calorie level, a healthy exercise level. And it's not always going to be great, but like I said, I know God's got me. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video, because half of this is going to end up on the editing floor anyway, because I have gone on so many tangents, and that really wasn't the point of this video. I really just wanted to give my weekly weigh-in and my results. I will say that I am still working on my snack pack video. It has definitely proven to be more difficult to edit than I thought. I shot the video with 2 different cameras because I wanted to get different angles and try to piece it together. And holy moly, I am not that good at editing yet. So I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, so I'm still editing that. So I would expect hopefully for that to come out this week, if not next week. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when I do put that video out, you'll be notified. And I will catch you guys back here next week with my week 22 weigh-in. Until then, be blessed.